Government to award Bumi Putra companies with 9 billion ringgit LRT3 contracts. Movida bombers sentenced to 25 years jail. Hi, I'm Suhaila Saifuddin with Kappa News. The government has announced that 45% of the Light Rail Transit 3 or LRT3 contracts worth 9 billion ringgit will be awarded to Bumi Putra companies via the initiative led by the Bumi Putra Agenda Steering Unit, Teraju. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak said the eligible companies had to compete among themselves based on merit.
Ini bukan dianugerahkan ikut sesuka hati, tetapi mereka mestilah membuktikan kemampuan dan pertimbangan akan dibuat di atas merit.
He also said the overall package had been carefully detailed, encompassing civil works and systems. It includes bridges and buildings for parking involving 9 packages, which include underground tunnels, car depot, bus depot, works systems and supply of construction materials, among others. The LRT3 mega project will consist of 25 elevated stations and 1 underground station spanning over 37 kilometres starting at Bandar Utama and terminating at Johan Setia in Klang.
Jangan, tangguh lagi, hidup, 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 hidup pekerja, hidup pekerja, hidup, hidup.
Meanwhile, outside of Parliament, Parti Sosialis Malaysia or PSM workers staged a protest urging the government to speed up implementation of the Employment Insurance System EIS.
Kerana Menteri sebelum ini janji tahun lalu dia akan laksanakan skim ini pada sitting Parlimen Mac tahun ini. Tapi baru kita difahamkan ditangguh lagi. Sekarang krisis ekonomi negara kita kemuncak. Banyak kilang-kilang sedang tutup. Skim ini pun bukan sesuatu yang baru. So tidak boleh ditangguhkan lagi.
Around 20 PSM representatives later met with Human Resources Minister Datuk Seri Richard Riyad Jaim to hand over a bag of 20,000 printed cards, calling for the policy to be implemented immediately. Riyad personally accepted the cards and assured the workers that the government is serious about protecting their interests. However, he called for a little more patience as the bill was due to be tabled during the next parliamentary meeting in June, following 4 rounds of briefings with the National Economic Council. Prime Minister announced last week that the EIS would benefit 6.5 million local employees in the private sector. Malaysia and China will set up a high-level committee to discuss security and defence issues common to both countries. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Hishamuddin Hussein, who received a courtesy call from China's Central Military Commission Vice Chairman General Zhu Qiliang, said the committee will discuss military ties between both countries.
The little mission ships is with China. Jadi I told them that this is one project that cannot fail. That is under the high-level committee meeting that I'm setting up. So the industry that is building the ships, 2 in China, 2 in Malaysia, they will report directly to the ministers, General Chang and myself. So we'll be monitoring the developments of the LMS very closely. So what we are trying to do now is to institutionalize the relationship between the ministries, the relationship between the military, the relationship between the defence industry of China and Malaysia.
He said other than institutionalizing bilateral relations, the committee will discuss security issues pertaining to North Korea, the South China Sea and terrorism, all of which were touched upon during the talk. Hishamuddin also said a working group for the military cooperation, exchange of information and intelligence will be set up, which will emphasize on educating, training, strategic affairs and combating terrorism. Imam Wahyudin Karjono and Jonius Indi Elias Jahali were sentenced to 25 years of jail over the grenade attack at Movida nightclub in Puchong last year that left 8 people injured. The duo were also given an additional 10-year sentence each for supporting the Islamic State group. High Court Judicial Commissioner Nordin Hassan made the decision and set both jail terms to run concurrently. Imam and Jonius faced 8 charges under the Penal Code for attempted murder and 1 charge under the Firearms Heavy Penalties Act for using a hand grenade to commit the crime. The two also faced a charge under the Penal Code for committing terrorist acts. Both men committed the offences at the Movida restaurant and bar at IOI Boulevard in Puchong, Selangor at about 2 a.m. on June 28 last year. Police later confirmed it was the first attack by the Islamic State terror group in Malaysia. 2 former high-ranking officers in the Perak Immigration Department claimed trial in the Sessions Court to 2 charges of corruption each. Its former director Zulhairin Yahya and prosecution head Zaidi Dali pleaded not guilty separately to soliciting a 10,000 ringgit monthly bribe for themselves from one Nga Chi Jiek. The bribe was allegedly an inducement not to carry out checks or raids at the Boss KTV entertainment outlet in Seri Manjung. The duo further claimed trial to a charge of obtaining 7,000 ringgit and 4,000 ringgit bribes from Nga in November 11 and 12, 2015. The court set bail at 15,000 ringgit with 1 surety for each of the charges pending mention on May 5th. MCA is confident that the 13 Barisan Nasional Component parties will reach a consensus on the proposed amendments to the Sharia Court Act or RUU 355. MCA Secretary-General Datuk Seri Ong Kah Chuan said the coalition has worked together for the past few decades because all component parties share the same values and consensus.
So kita tak ada masalah, kita ada topik nilai yang sama, maka kita akan dapat mencapai kesepakatan, persetujuan. Jadi kita tak mau bincang benda yang kita tak ada nilai yang sama. Jadi pada malam ni saya yakin Barisan Nasional kita akan tumpu pada topik kawasan yang ada nilai yang sama. Dari sana, dia akan jadi satu asas yang kuat untuk kita kerjasama.
When asked if RUU 355 would be discussed at the Barisan Supreme Council meeting to be held on Wednesday night, he said they are meeting to find solutions, not to fight against each other. Ong said issues that would cause panic among the people should not be raised in the first place. Earlier, Ong, who is the International Trade and Industry Minister too, met with Shanxi Province Governor Hu Heping to discuss potential trade opportunities between Malaysia and the Chinese province. British Prime Minister Theresa May will formally begin Britain's exit from the European Union on Wednesday by sending a letter to the EU invoking Article 50. 9 months after Britain's voted to leave, May will notify EU Council President Donald Tusk of the United Kingdom's intention to leave. The Prime Minister, an initial opponent of Brexit, who won the top job in the political turmoil that followed the referendum, will have 2 years to settle the terms of the divorce before it comes into effect in late March 2019. A Peruvian commercial plane that was travelling to Lima was forced to make an emergency landing at a small airport in Jauja, Peru after it caught fire. It was reported that the fire started when the wing of the plane scraped the runway and broke. All 141 people on board were evacuated safely and an investigation has been launched into what caused the fire. A video posted online on Tuesday showed what it claims to be an airstrikes and missiles hitting eastern neighbourhoods of the Syrian capital Damascus. Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said regime forces targeted the Jobar neighbourhood with no less than 10 missiles were launched on areas in Kubu neighbourhood and Tishrin in the outskirts of the capital. The group also said no casualties were reported in any of the locations. And that's a wrap for Couple News. Before we end the show, here is a jet-setting performance by the South Korea's Black Eagles acrobatic team at KLCC. Good night.